Hey guys, I just wanted to give a quick little hello and please forgive the big ears. Hopefully, it won't distract you for a serious conversation. I just want to get into a little small, in depth conversation about how goals are actually initiated. So, I wrote a post on our page yesterday just to give some ideas to jumpstart on what some long term and short term goals will look like for you or for anyone, or just to initiate the process of thinking about yourself ongoing in the future and thinking about yourself now. So, like, in the mix of all that, I was thinking about myself as well, as far as my own personal goals, my short term goals, my long term goals, my short term goals, and my long term goals. And what came to me first was some doors that are still open that haven't been quite closed yet. Excuse me. So it was really interesting because I've thought about, things in life where things, simply put, aren't closed in their proper way. Things are just left open. And I'll give you a little short example in a moment. When, someone go away or you go away and there is no closure, so to speak. So I was thinking, before there are some real long-term goals to set, there are some things to do before those long-term goals, which is to close doors, have closure to the things that are still circulating in your thought process. For me, it's in my thought process. So, a quick example is where I used to do nursing for 15 years at a hospital. And let's just say I overstayed my welcome, where I was let go. The moment I was let go from the position, I immediately darted and left. There was no words. I was just like, pew. By that point, I was burnt out like on year 3 when I worked there. I worked at this particular position for 9 years, so I was burnt out like the third year when I began working there. So when they told me that they no longer needed my service anymore after the ninth year, I bolted. I was ready to go. It was time for me to go. I didn't. The thing was, I had a job lined up a week. It was going to take a week after. Like, I was going to put in my 2 week notice the next week for me getting let go from this position that I was at for so long. So I was happy and relieved, but my emotions were when I left the job, like, oh my God, I can't, I was fired. Nobody likes to get fired. Of course, I was relieved and happy and ecstatic, over time. Initially, right away, impulsive when they told me that, sat me down in their office, that they didn't want me there anymore. Basically, I immediately left. I didn't need to hear anymore. There was no point for me to like beg for a job. Seriously. So I was happy, but then I started to drive in down the road and end up calling my mom and some other people like, fuck, I was just let go from my job. I can't believe this shit. I was one of the best workers there. Obviously, I was there for that many years. But up until now, what's occurring today is I asked someone in the group about dream work, or if anyone is interested or follow their dreams or have a dream book, which will bring me to my next point is after that happened, maybe 2 or 3 years later, I began to have like dreams of being at that place again. And it was being there like, hey, I'm coming in to fill in, not there ongoing working like I did. It was like coming to be like a fill-in kind of work. And so the day before yesterday, I'm asking myself out loud, like, okay, why am I keep having these reoccurring dreams? I'm walking. I only sat down once in the dream. I probably have this dream like almost every night. That and many other dreams that I do recall is that I'm at this job, I'm walking, I'm working, I'm not really helping with the patients, but I'm walking, I'm always busy. So when I ask myself out loud, like, why do I keep having these reoccurring dreams? And it hit me the night before, which was yesterday, that this particular time period is still open. It hadn't quite been a closure for me where I just left and bolted. There are people there that still work there that I built friendship with, whether it's the patients, the clients, or administration, and I just left. I cut everybody off. I was out. That's all I needed to know. I was, in a way embarrassed, and I was just over the job. So I began to look on their webpage. Things have changed. There's some heavy bad reviews about the place, but there are still some people who are still there. So basically, my point is, before I set a long-term goal for myself in 2020, which is big, is to close these little small doors that has been open in my life. I plan on going back to visit for lunch. I plan on talking to the people that I know firsthand still, even after 3 years since I worked there. I know the people's names, the people who actually have to live there. I know their names. I know their family names. I know their personalities. I know where they're from. Anyway, I plan on going there and just walking through and closing the door and passing out my contact information to those who are interested in being in contact with me and closing the door that way. This is a really good reset for 2020 for everyone to do, is to, before you set a long-term goal, which is from 6 months to, about a year, it can be easier to set a short-term goal, which may be taking short steps in a day or in a week, 2 weeks, 3 months to do simple things. You will start to feel relieved, like you will start to feel accomplished. You're giving back to yourself. You feel empowered. You feel willed. Doing things for yourself. Actually completing things for yourself. Not for anyone, but for you. This video was to get you to start thinking about short and long-term goals. One thing that I noticed about myself in the past was being stagnant because of the short-term goals that needed to be completed in order for me to see the bigger picture, in order for me to reach bigger heights, was to relinquish the small shit, was to relinquish the small things that mattered in your life, pinpoints that matter in your life. A person can be stagnant and stuck in thought forms, and it's a good practice to begin closing doors and to start thinking renewal energy for yourself, knowing that you are the only one who can really help you in your situation. I know for myself, I thought for a long time that someone was going to come around and help me, and of course we do have guides and we have many other guys around us, but ultimately it's up for us to do the work. Ultimately, it's for us to be focused, to want to heal, and to want to change, and to want to form new thought forms. And it's not something that's, of course, not going to happen overnight. It is something that is gradually, that takes place inside your body, so it becomes a habit and a hobby. Like, for me, for instance, because I am a child sexual abuse survivor, I consider myself a thriver now, but in order for me to get over or still heal from that, was to always stay optimistic in my life, to be optimistic in all things. It was my outlet as a child. I had to be optimistic and build new thought forms. And one other thing I wanted to say is, a lot of times we think that we have to suffer in life. For what reason, I don't know. We get it stuck in our mind that suffering is the way of life, and that's incorrect. Granted, we all going to go through suffering because change is uncomfortable, but to continue to suffer in depression and anxiety and insomnia is never okay. It's the best way to, I guess, disconnect from the suffering thought form of saying that, oh, I have to suffer through this, is to know that on the other side of the suffering, there is going to be this bright wave of light, of acknowledgement and joy and love of yourself after the suffering. Suffering does not continue. Happiness always doesn't continue as well. It's bridging the two and having balance. Suffering is what I learned for myself is easily attainable. It's more heavy and it's more retractable. You see a lot of mad people, I guess you would say, or a lot of people who are more upset versus those who are happy, delightful all the time. And there was a reason because of that, because suffering is something that you're not really conscious of, because it really becomes a hobby if you don't change your thought form. So that was just a quick little message on closing doors as well, and letting you guys know that there's no point to continue to suffer through anxiety. There's no point to suffer through depression. One great way to find, because people ask me, well, how do you not suffer from anxiety and depression? The best way I can tell you is ask yourself. I know it might sound crazy and it might seem stupid, but begin to ask yourself questions out loud about things that you want to change in your life. Ask them out loud, genuinely, in your own voice, in your own tone, in your own feelings. What is this? I don't understand what this is. Help me to understand why I have to go through this, why I have to do this. You have to begin your state of healing, so things will begin to come to you, because it will show, it will reveal yourself to you, the tools that you need to get to your next step. This channel, or this Facebook group, is called Recharge and Support. As you can see, there's the amethyst on the page, and that is for good reasoning. I am about natural healing. It's beginning to close doors in order for new ones to open. What we want is for us to know that suffering is not okay. There is an end point and an end time of suffering. Suffering is not continual. It is something that you can break the cycle of. It's like the pendulum swinging back and forth. You have to, balance the two. You have to be humbled in the two. When you have good times, you're humble and you're realizing your good times. When you're having bad times, you have to know that there is something better for me. Is because my mind is not going to click right then and there the next day. But in order for you to start changing your mindset, closing doors, opening new suggestions, getting new thought forms, is to begin to end suffering. Ultimately, in order for you to close doors, in order for you to build new thought forms, it's up for you to building short-term goals and completing them in order to obtain long-term goals. So yeah, I think that's all I want to say. Hopefully my ears didn't distract you. And hey, if you have any ideas about short-term goals and what are some of the things that you're working towards before 2020, let's not wait till 2020 to begin thinking about, what do they do at the beginning of the year? New Year resolutions, yeah, something like that. Crazy, because like every day is something to look forward to. New Year resolutions are better than no resolutions, I tell you that, which is just to live, because we all have a purpose. We all have a goal. And yes, this is a new century we have entered. So therefore, the healing is necessary in order for us to heal ourselves and other generations, because when you're healing your family ultimately, although you probably don't mess with any of your family, or, you're off by yourself learning. Just know that it all starts and it ends and it begins with you, and you have the power to take control yeah, so leave a comment, inspire a few people. Talk about some of your short-term goals or talk about some of your long-term goals, and let's start to have conversations about things that we are ready to overcome, things that we have overcome. Okay. Well, anyway, this is my first video on Facebook, and hopefully it wasn't too long, and hopefully it is all taken lightly. I have been on here for 17 minutes, and you can always leave a message, email me. You can leave messages here to about any and everything, even if it's how you're feeling today, even if it's just to say good morning. It's nice to hear from you guys and who's all really involved in the group and who's all really willing to, share experiences. And even if not share experiences, can we get a thumb up? All right, guys. I'll see you guys real soon. Bye.